Welcome back. Okay. All right, so now I'll share screen. All right. Okay, so hopefully you can see my Brightspace page. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for nodding. I really appreciate that. All right, make it bigger. All right, so here we are in General Psych. It's one of my favorite memes of the year. This is supposedly, I mean, there's a little bit of controversy over how true this is, but this is supposedly like a widowed, older female penguin over here. Did you guys see this? Anybody? This won some award in some like nature journal. And this is a younger widowed male penguin, and they mate for life. And they like met every night at this place and overlooked this area. And so they thought they like, you know, it's just an interesting thing. They don't know exactly why they do because they don't share any offspring or anything. So anyway, that's cute. Okay. So hopefully you have done the welcome survey. You've joined class, so that's cool. The link to join class will be the same every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Pretty much everything you're going to need is in the syllabus and or under content. So if you go to the syllabus, hopefully this works. It kept not working. Yay. Okay. So you notice so many things here are clickable. Everything in blue is clickable. All right. So here's the Zoom link. It's also, if you scroll down to the course calendar, it's not there. Okay, never mind. It's also under content, under due, it says attend class. And if you click attend class, it brings you to class. Okay. Here's my email. If you click on it, it will open your mail with my address and the to thing. Here's software for making a office hours appointment with me. It can be, I think if you click on that, it opens like a little thing. Yeah, so you can click on like a 5-minute meeting, 15-minute meeting, 30-minute meeting. Right now I have mainly Thursdays for you to meet with me, but it might open up more. I'm kind of waiting to see what my semester turns into. We're gonna meet like this through the whole semester from 10:10 to 11. Mondays through Fridays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sorry, not 5 days a week. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay. The textbook is free. Yay, isn't that awesome? So you can click on it here, or you can click on it here. It brings you to a big table of contents and everything that we need to read this semester is there. Okay. So it also has embedded in it little videos and little questions for testing yourself. Now, there is software that comes along with this text that you have to buy. The text is free. The software is $30 or something, and I used it the last term, and I didn't like it. It confused, like the content was good for the students, but trying to get it, like paying for it and stuff and making it show up that you had done the work that's involved in that software was confusing for students. So I just made quizzes of my own instead that are much easier to use and you don't have to pay for them. So I hope people like it as much as they liked that software that you have to pay for. You know, once it was working, it was really good because it told you like stuff you needed to learn better and stuff. So that's the only part that's a little bit missing. But if you see what you got wrong on the quiz, that tells you what you need to work on, right? So you just click there and it brings you to I think, yeah, it brings you to the table of contents for that book. And a bunch of other things like assignments and stuff. But basically, these are the chapters. Modules are kind of like chapters. And we're not reading all of them, but we're reading some of them this semester. Okay. This is what we're talking about and trying to learn this semester, the course content and objectives. You have to get like a basic, I hate to say superficial, but we can't go super deep into a lot of these topics. And there's a massive field of psychology. It involves things like vision, it involves things like, how people pick their romantic partners. There's such a wide range, and some of it's highly biological and neurological. So like it's vast, it's everything. If you ask me, you can apply psychology to pretty much anything you're interested in. So we can't go we can't dive super deep into everything. But the benefit of that is we can pick the most important, most interesting parts of each topic, right? So you're going to acquire basic knowledge of the main psychological concepts and kind of learn how psychologists think about things and how they prove things. We're not allowed to just talk about things and make up ideas and think that we're right. We have to prove things. We try to be like scientists, like physicists and biologists who actually test things in a lab, and we get as close to that as we can. Explore and grapple with historical and contemporary issues in the study of psychology, like, deinstitutionalization happened in the 60s where, you didn't hold people who were severely mentally ill against their will, but now there's a zillion homeless people with psychotic disorders on the streets. So what do we do about that? That kind of thing. Build critical thinking skills particular to the field of psychology. So when you hear something on, let's see, if you read something on BuzzFeed or something and it says, hey, people who drink more coffee are less depressed. You can't take that to mean that if you start drinking a bunch of coffee, you're going to be happy or you're going to be, protected from depression. You have to learn to think critically and evaluate those kind of studies for yourself, right? So that's the kind of thing. And develop your own opinions regarding complex psychological topics and kind of be able to defend your opinion in like a logical way. Not just like, well, Professor Cirillo told us that's not true. Say something we don't discuss comes up and you can say, well, that's a correlational study. So that doesn't tell us anything about whether one of them causes the other. It just tells us that they both increase at the same time. That doesn't tell us that one causes the other. So that's not a good argument or something like that. Just being able to think in a more kind of sophisticated way about stuff. I think everybody is naturally interested in psychological stuff. Like how you could not be interested in like think about it. Most of you want a romantic interlude at some point in your young lives, right? There's a huge psychological component to that. Most of you want to have like a decent job someday if you don't have one now. There's a huge psychological component to that. I just can't imagine anyone who wouldn't be, any college student who wouldn't be somewhat naturally interested in this topic, even if it's not what you choose ultimately for your career, right? Okay, in terms of my course policies, I'm looking at like 4 people. I want to expand this a little. Okay. Attendance, you just get 3 unexcused absences. You don't have to talk to me about your first 3. After that, it really lowers your whole grade. It's really important that you attend class. So after the third one, your grade goes down by half a letter grade with the fourth absence, and then another half letter grade with every absence after that. And at that point, you're going to want to get me evidence that you, were seen by a doctor, that you had to go to the emergency room, that somebody died. And, unless it's something you couldn't predict and didn't know until then, like getting into a car accident that morning or something, you need to tell me before class starts. Okay, or else it won't be excused. Let's see, and again, I monitor it via Zoom records because I'm just not, I don't think anybody, well, there's a few people who are compulsive enough, but it's very hard to keep super accurate records of this kind of thing, right? Why is it bouncing around? Okay, Zoom etiquette, you have to have your video activated. I have to be able to see your face somewhat, it doesn't have to be like a high definition. I don't have to see your facial pores, but I don't want to just stare at your forehead. I need to see if you're engaged and paying attention. That's part of how I figure out if what I'm doing is working. It's like a signal to me if I can tell. I go by people's faces to tell if people are understanding, to tell if people are interested, to tell if like a particular concept I'm talking about, the way I'm talking about is making sense. So like, and it makes me a way better teacher if I can see you. Okay, that's why I require that your video is active. You can use a virtual background. You can come as a cat or a pickle if you want. If you want to use filters, I do that sometimes. I'll show up as like a mushroom or something for fun for a little while. And you just mute yourself unless you're speaking, and hopefully you will speak. Participation is a part of your grade. And what was that last part? I have to move you guys to, class, pretty much, yeah, classes are recorded. I usually have more than one person with accommodation who absolutely needs a recording of each Zoom class. And sometimes people need a transcript as well. And sometimes the whole class wants a recording of each class, so I don't like just always put them up by default, because sometimes people think, well, I'm not going to go today, I can look at the video, which is not the same thing. It's just not. It's not the same thing at all to just watch it later. Okay. That's Zoom etiquette. Emails, please always tell me what class you're in, because like I have to look through 75 people and pull up all my class lists. If you write to me and say, I'm not sure when this is, why I can't do this or whatever, I have to like figure out what class you're in, and it takes me a while. And I have so many emails to respond to all the time. I get back to people really quickly. This says 2 business days, but it's usually sooner than that. Please check your email. Please check your Assumption email a lot. And check the announcements on Brightspace, right? When you submit something in my classes, I don't think you have to submit any written work in here. But in case you take another class with me, I'd like it to be submitted in Word so I can use track changes. And in case people don't know, you can download Office 365 for free from the university webpage. And that little link right there, download Office 365, which includes Word, links to a video about how to do it. Okay, so if you don't have Word or Microsoft 365 on your computer, you can just click That's shortcut for click link. You can just click that link in the syllabus and it will show you how to do it so that you have that. That's a handy thing to have. But that's not really relevant to our class. There's a link to Turnitin and what that is. So you can it's a good idea if you have writing in any class to run it through Turnitin before you hand it in, because Turnitin tells you how much of what you've written is like exact word for word similar to something else anywhere on the internet, including other papers that have been submitted to other schools all over the country. So even if you're not handing anything in this class, it might be a good idea to click on that Turnitin thing and learn a little bit about it if you've never used Turnitin before. Late assignments are accepted, but you lose a full letter grade for each class day they're late. And I don't accept anything after the final day of class. Yeah, that's the academic honesty. You can't copy people, you can't plagiarize, and there's a nice link to the academic honesty policy of the school here and exactly what people can be charged for. Technically, you're not even supposed to, even if you give people credit and you paraphrase, you're not supposed to allow that to be a big proportion of your paper. But if you're writing a paper, it's supposed to be your own thoughts, and you add to it and enhance it with paraphrasing. So even that can be considered plagiarism if you paraphrase too much. So that's a tricky area and something you want to think about as you go into kind of your higher order, like harder classes in the 200s and 300s levels. Oh, okay. This is a thing that stresses a lot of people out. This is the research requirement. All students in any general psych class have to complete a research requirement. Okay, because it's a way that schools make sure that psychology students learn about research. It's also a way that psychology departments make sure they have enough participants to be in their studies. Okay, so what they want students to do is be in one or two psychological studies that are run by the psych professors here. Because it would be unethical to make you be in a study, you can't do that. You can't force somebody to be in a psychological study. That's highly unethical. So you have another option you can do to learn about research that doesn't require you to be like a guinea pig, right? You can just write a really easy summary of a very short research article. And we provide research articles you can choose from. And the questions, there's like 4 questions or something, and they're really easy. And it's like a less than 1-page document. And the document is not graded. It just gives you credit for research participation. Now, everybody needs 2 points, 2 of these research points to just not get an incomplete in general psych. So that usually means 2 studies, that you're in 2 studies and they're all online this semester. So you can complete them online. They usually take like a half an hour. It's things like looking at videos and saying whether you think the face looks happy or sad, stuff like that. Or, so that you usually get like 1 credit per half an hour of doing something like that. Or you can write 2 of those 1-page summaries of articles. Okay, the thing that people keep getting confused about, so I have made it like as user-friendly as I can, is that you have to sign up for this thing called Sona. And everybody's like, what the hell is Sona? And they get like freaked out by it. It's just, you click on this, right? And you put in your user ID. And I don't think you have to put @assumption.edu. And you ask for a password, and it will send you a password, and then you're in. Okay, I think you have to put which class you're asking for. Has anybody signed up for it yet? I think today was the first day it opened.
I did.
Okay, and who is this? Sorry, I can't see everyone.
No, it's okay.
Oh, there. Okay, Benicia, is that how you pronounce it?
It's okay. You can say it in a way you want.
Oh, how do you say it?
Oh, Venecia.
Venecia. Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of like Vanessa, but
Kind of, yeah. So when I log in, I just have to write like the first part of the assumption email, like Venecia.Lorenzo, and the password they send an email, but you have to like request account because you don't have an account. So
okay.
then immediately you have the password, you write it down, and then you got in like immediately. You have kind of like a survey, and it will give you kind of like articles or any other research that you can try based on the things that you answer in that survey.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like for make you feel more interest, I guess.
Okay, yeah, so that is the screening survey, and that kind of helps them figure out which studies you're kind of qualified for. Like if they're studying only males, you wouldn't be a candidate for that study, so they're not going to bother, signing you up for that study. So the only things that would show up on your page for you to participate in would be studies that it makes sense for you to be in. Right. And so if somebody had, if that does that, well, you don't have to answer this, but sometimes in the screening, they'll ask like if somebody has a medical condition, because sometimes there's studies that focus on students with medical conditions, so then it screens it out. So the only thing that appears on your SONA list of studies to be in is the ones that you can actually be in. So it's actually very easy to sign up for SONA, but one thing that I think confuses people is like, why would I have to sign up for it if I'm just gonna do the written alternative, right? Because some people are like, I'm not being in a study. I don't like that idea. The reason everybody has to sign up for SONA is so we can keep track of who's done their research requirement, because we need to know who gets to kind of graduate from Psych 101 and who gets an incomplete. So that's how we keep track of it all. So let's see. There's a whole bunch of stuff if you just scroll through the whole syllabus. The last page is all about how to sign up for SONA. Okay. And then if you decide to do the written alternative, you click on questions. These are the questions you would have to answer about the article you read. Okay. And it's all on page 7 of the syllabus. And these are the articles you can choose from. So that we're trying to make them short, easy articles on things students might be interested in, like the ability to judge the romantic interest of others. Peers increase adolescent risk taking even when the probabilities of negative outcomes are known. So say you picked this one. You would just read this article. It's pretty short. Okay, see, that's the whole article there. The reference section already started. So that would be all you had to read, and then you would just answer that short list of questions I showed you right before that. Now, when you're done with that, you would submit it under assignments. Oh, I didn't create it here. You would submit it here. It will say written alternative, and you will click on that and submit it as a Word document. Okay, and you'll have to do 2 if you want to do your whole research requirement that way. Or you could do 1 study and 1 written alternative assignment, or you could do 2 studies, however you want to get those 2 credits. Does that make sense to people? Does anybody have a question? Now, did anybody see what benefit you get if you sign up for SONA by Friday. Did anybody see that in the?
5 bonus.
Bonus
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, you get 5 extra points on your quiz that's due Friday. And that's if you do it Friday by midnight. So Friday night by midnight, if you have signed up for SONA, I will add 5 points to your first quiz. Okay. That's your huge incentive. I got to write down that I have to add that assignment. All right, so so far everything makes sense. Okay, let's see what else I can show you guys. Back. This is my leather chair makes tons of noise. I'm really sorry. Can you guys hear it creaking around my chair? Yeah, sorry. It's so comfortable. I can't switch it. It makes me so happy. All right, so that's the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's why class might be recorded. If you think you need accommodations, you should call Julie LeBlanc or email her. The information is there. And if you have accommodations, you can talk to me if you want, or email me, or make a office hour appointment with me through that Calendly link at the beginning of the syllabus. And then this is Academic Support Center info. They have, I think, 2 psych students as tutors, and I've had them both as students, and they're amazing students, and they can show you everything, like how to navigate everything online that I use, what I'm looking for in assignments. Oh, but I took out the written assignments for you guys, yay. How to study for my exams, that kind of thing, okay? Okay, so this is what you're gonna get graded on here, okay? And it's really super simple. You'll notice everything is super simple and streamlined here, and you can thank me whenever you want. So the quizzes, after every topic that you read, there will be a quiz. They're not super hard. They're take home, obviously. They're online. They're open book. You get 2 attempts and only the highest score will be recorded. You have as much time to take it as you want. There's something that says like 120 minutes is the suggestion. I don't care how much time you spend. The only thing is, like, sometimes it times out and you lose your answers. So I wouldn't just like leave it open all week while you're reading. You know what I mean? And if you click around in a quiz, don't use the browser arrows. Use the arrows inside the quiz, okay? Because you don't want to lose what you've done. Or maybe like keep track of what you've done on a piece of paper, and also the questions get scrambled. So if you're keeping track of what you've done, make sure you write down question on, the literal meaning of schizophrenia in your answer. Don't just write down question 20 because it gets scrambled every time. Okay. All right, so those quizzes are worth, I think does it say how many? No, I think there's 11. And those are worth 40% of your grade. And those are open book. So that's effort right there. 10% is attendance and participation. I tend to get amazing attendance. So it's going to be based on whether you contribute to class. You're going to have to contribute to class. Okay. And then 50% is exams. There are 3. There's exam 1 and 2, and then the final exam. The final exam is not cumulative and it's not scheduled yet because the registrar schedules it like a few weeks into the semester. Okay, but it's not cumulative, meaning it's not on everything that you learn all semester. It's just on the last third of the semester. I have to check time. Okay. I have everything on Brightspace all the time, so you can monitor what your class average is by looking at final calculated grade in Brightspace. The only thing is, if I haven't received something from you, like if you didn't do a quiz, a 0 doesn't automatically go in there, right? Because I'm thinking, oh, maybe they'll do it in a couple days and then I'll take 1 letter grade off of it. So like a 50, even a 50 is way better than a 0. So I wait to see if people pass it in. So if you never do a quiz and you got 100 on the first one, it looks like your average is 100, right? But if you never do that second quiz, then your average is really a 50. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay, because once, a couple times a semester I go in and add those zeros for people who never hand stuff in. But and the other thing is I only compute attendance and participation scores usually twice a semester, usually midterm and the final. So if you're not talking in class, that's going to affect your grade. So your average might look higher than it is if you're completely silent in class. So just keep that in mind as you look at your average calculated grade. Okay. I just put like the course calendar in here. I mean the academic calendar in here because everything is different. No spring break, it's just weird. So I put that in there. And Easter's like super early this year, isn't it? And our last day of class is like in April. Everything's crazy. So anyway, so here's the course calendar. This is the most important part. This is like what's due every day, right? And I have everything clickable. So one thing that's different is like, it says what's due before class starts on this day. So I think like in high school, if anybody's like a first year student, they have the date and then what you're supposed to read that night, I think, sometimes in the schedule. This is what's due when you get into class that day. So like today, hopefully you've all read the syllabus and hopefully you all completed the welcome survey. And then on Wednesday, I will expect you to have all read psychological foundations. Right now, if you click on this, please God, let it work. It brings you to psychological foundations, right? Now, the thing is, it brings you to psychological foundations, but you could read from psychological foundations to the end of the book from here. It doesn't stop at the end of psychological foundations. So you have to stop before, I think it's psychological research starts. You have to by yourself figure out when the module ends, okay? Because module 1 is psychological foundations. So I'm sure you won't have any trouble with this, but don't read the whole book every time my link brings you to a section of the book. Do you see what I'm saying? It won't let me specify just a section of the book, and it will only allow me to bring you to one page of the book. Okay, and it's not paginated, like it's not like, so if we go next, then it just kind of goes and goes and goes. So I can't give you a page number to stop at, so just stop before the next module. Okay. All right. So, oops, back to the syllabus. I think I can do that here. And then, all right, so every Friday, pretty much, there's a quiz. I think there's one Friday that there's not a quiz or exam. I think I even wrote no quiz that Friday. Yeah. April 16th, there's not a quiz. So remember, there's something every Friday. Okay, I make them on Fridays for a reason, so that people don't zone and forget to do their quiz, right? The other thing is I used to make the quizzes due before class so that you'd come to class knowing some of the material. And now I'm going to try it this way. Okay. The quiz, however, is due before class starts. So for the quiz due this Friday, you have to finish it before 10 a.m. Okay. So that you click the quiz and it brings you to the quiz. So you can just take it right there. Just click start quiz. Okay, so you don't even have to find anything. You could go to quizzes, right, and find the quiz there. But I've made the syllabus like literally you click on whatever I tell you to do and it's there. Okay, that took me like 7 years, so you're welcome. Like hours and hours and hours and hours. I'm not a web maker, web page designer or whatever. Okay, and then what else do I gotta tell you? That's pretty much everything that's in here. I think the exams don't bring you to an exam yet because I didn't make them yet because I've changed things around a lot this semester. I mean, I have a ton of exams, but they don't have the right sequence of topics on them. So what will happen is you will come to class and you will come to Zoom and it'll look just like this, but you'll go to Brightspace and click on quizzes and then click on exam 1 and just take it in front of me. And so I'll be able to see you on camera. So I know you're not like with the book, like, you know, or like talking on the phone to your classmates figuring out the right answers. Yeah, I'll just be proctoring. The other thing is that you can chat. I don't see the chat window here today. I hope nobody's been trying to chat with me. Let me just see. Yeah, I can't find my chat window, but I'll work on that because I'm hoping that during exams, people can chat me questions. If I don't see the chat, hopefully you'll just say professor and I'll look at the chat and answer your question. Okay. And I do make study guides. And a lot of people said they want to review before exams. Is that right? So I will have to remember that. There's a bunch of stuff, like, it's like I'm totally willing to do these things. And then sometimes I forget that I said I'd do it. So I will try to remember those things. Okay, and then, so just to show you, if you like a different format better, what time is it? We have 3 minutes. If, okay, if you like a different format better, well, there's the chat, okay. There it is, okay. Can you see the Brightspace page? Okay, so if you click on this and you go to content, and you, the people, I can't see anyone. I need to get a massive screen. It's my next purchase. And you click on week 1. And it says Monday, read that. You know, I asked you to read the syllabus. You can click on whatever's there and it will tell you what to read. And then do come to class. So it said to complete the welcome survey. That will bring you to the welcome survey. It said to attend the Zoom class. If you click this, it brings you to the Zoom class. Read brings you back to psychological foundations. You might not get it, you know, I do one like in a week, but I kind of expect you to read it on Mondays and then review it on Wednesdays. So you're fresh, so you can participate in class, right? And then do come to class Fridays. There's always going to be a quiz. Oops. There's always going to be a quiz. You click it, it brings you to the quiz. You're supposed to register for SONA by Friday at midnight, and you have to come to class. Okay, so you can just do it all through the syllabus if you'd rather, or if this kind of setup is more user-friendly to you, you can do this. I think this is kind of like if I remember when I first got to college, the syllabus looked really weird to me. And this just looks really like, okay, I know it's Monday. I know it's February 1st. It's saying I should have this read. And then what am I supposed to do? Oh yeah, go to class at 10:10, so you might want that way. All right, so stop share. Are there any questions about anything? No? Okay, great. Anybody? All right, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a nice day. Thanks.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.